scheduling. So glad we got them in there. But we also have another kettlebell from Wildman Athletica to
Oh,
discuss.
okay.
Something from Fringe. We have Kodo Gi grips, and I think something else. I forget off the top of my head. Should write that down. But
Oh, some yeah, so
oh yeah,
bulletproof.
bulletproof
Bulletproof.
home VTS.
Yeah. Yeah, some cool
Um,
stuff after a very slow news week before
yeah,
last.
that was one reason we skipped the week because there just wasn't much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had a few people reach out. Thanks to the couple of guys who reached out to ask, like, "Hey, where's my Knurled news?" I was like, "It's slow news week, man." And I had a professional conflict as well, that would have
Right.
forced us to start even earlier. Um, Darko, in the first one in the chat, getting his probably getting his morning workout in. Congratulations, Darko, on the warehouse. That is very cool. He's got a new spot. It's got a big old
I saw
warehouse
that.
now.
That is very
Moved
cool.
moved out of the home garage. I'm gonna have to swing by next time I'm in Southern California. But how's the last couple of weeks been for you?
Good. You know, it is it's home gym con creeping up,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much crunch time to nail down some specifics here. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of like admin type work
Mm-hmm.
for home gym con and finalizing official stuff and still getting them sales emails out, trying to getting on some phone calls. There's like 10 really solid companies that are considering that I've had, like they're very good leads right now.
Okay.
I'm very curious to see how many of those turn into something. Some
Well, I
cool
saw
companies.
Expedience got across the finish line there. Nice job on that. I think everybody's a bit more excited about the potential of Expedience being there after after they've teased out their magnetic resistance product. Hopefully, we'll see that at Home
I
Gym Con.
imagine they will bring that. um,
Nice.
that will be super cool. It'll
Yeah.
be super cool. Expedience. We've got Lu Zhaozhen. We
Oh
have
yeah. That's how
and
you say
they
that,
have
huh?
some cool stuff. I said it right, I think.
Okay.
Who else did we add? We've had Pioneer. We've had added Mad Spotter, who was just bought out by a company, and
They
they're
were.
coming. It's
Oh.
a small company, like a small. So basically, the backstory is that they were running out of Spain and put their self up for sale, and somebody just kind of thought that they weren't giving it the attention they need, and there's potential for the product. So you know, I get to hear kind of some cool stories like that as people are, as I'm pitching them home gym con. Yeah, if you know, Strenflex purchased or acquired Bear Steel Equipment.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Bear Steel Equipment has new ownership. They are coming to home gym con. And then there's a lot of like smaller companies signing up. We've got 8 stealth companies. Most of them
8.
are like smaller smaller like creator types that are
I
like
know one. I know about
I
one.
think I know who
Yeah.
I think I know who you know. Yes.
Yeah. But I
I
don't
didn't
know
get
the
too
other
much
7.
details on that,
Okay.
but I mean I got the sense of the service that will be offered.
Wait a
Um
second. What is Bill saying? There's a whole gaggle of people in the other live broadcast? What other live? I hope Bill, did we start up 2 lives on accident? That would be funny.
Let me take a check.
Now I'm taking a check too. Um no, that's the one we're in. Is it possible to have 2 lives going at the same time?
I don't think so.
Okay. Explain yourself, Bill. Live.
There is one issue where something else pops up, but I don't think no. I think this is just the one.
There, it does show
Yeah, that's a little
Iron
bug that we've
Master.
got. Yes.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
it says like it's coming. I
Yeah, it
always
shows
immediately
upcoming.
just delete that one after. I'm not sure why that happens.
Okay. Well, this is the one, everybody.
This is
Um,
the one. But yeah, we are 25 weeks out from home gym con. We can if we have nothing else to discuss here, we can go on to our first product. I have a little video.
well, hang on. Before we do that, we have not
Okay.
talked about Brian Shaw
Did
coming
we
to
not
Home
talk
Gym
about
Con.
Brian
I
Shaw?
don't think we talked about it. It's been 2 complete weeks, and that news.
Got it.
You
So
you
Brian
and
Shaw,
I talked about it in, text messages, but we have not talked about it
got it. So what do you think
here.
about Brian Shaw coming?
I think that is a fantastic addition to Home Gym Con. I think that his audience overlaps with so many different things. I mean, obviously, home gym equipment, but strongman, powerlifting. He's just an
Grip.
influencer in general, grip strength. Yeah. And it is very cool that he's coming to Home Gym Con.
I think it's about as good of a partnership as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Did you did you meet with him or his people in getting him to come to Home Gym Con?
So first of all, they reached out,
Oh,
which was cool.
oh, that's very cool.
And then yeah, I did have most of the communication is with he does have like a business team, but most of
Yes.
the communication was with his wife. And
Oh,
then
nice.
I had a call scheduled with his wife and he joined. I thought there might have been a chance, but I didn't think he would.
Yeah.
Um, but that was super cool. And uh, kind of like you were saying, they understood. First of all, they had heard good things about the event
Mm-hmm.
um, from a number of people. They said so. They had I think they had high hopes going into reaching out, and but they were just really nice, really down to earth people, flexible, um, excited for the event. And yeah, it was about as good of a conversation as you possibly can. And I think they'll fit right in with the crowd because Brian is like he's a megastar, right? But he
Yeah.
doesn't he I've never seen an ego or anything from him. He's more of just like a normal guy. If you watch like his home gym tours, like he loves it. He
Yeah.
loves that stuff. So yeah, I mean, very, very, very excited. I'm glad a lot of people are going to get to meet him,
Mhm.
and yeah, should be good for promotion too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that he even created like a announcement reel that he was coming was really cool. Is
Yeah,
he
they did
gonna,
that. That was great.
yeah, is he gonna have his own booth or is he just gonna be there creating content? And do you kind of have any insight into what his time there is gonna look like?
Yeah, so it's relatively flexible. Kind of just want him to have the best experience possible, which is always the case when it comes into bringing people in. But yeah, they've got a booth. So Brian Shaw has underneath his like umbrella, there's a supplement company. There is an accessories style tool type company, and I think they might be working on some other stuff. I know he's been promoting his app. I didn't really get into the details as far as how much they're going to bring, what they're going to bring. They're also kind of like a small business as well, but yeah, I think they're gonna probably they have a pretty big booth area,
Nice.
and yeah, he should be present quite a bit, and yeah, should be. I think they can do well at the show.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
yeah,
I think it's gonna, yeah, I'm excited. I think it's a great get. And it's even cooler that they reached out to you about coming and that what is it? Like the good news has made its way to the likes of Brian Shaw.
yeah. I
And
think about like if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly it. Yeah.
it really is. This whole home gym con thing is like one at a time. One
Yeah.
at a time. Here we are 3 years later, and we've got this really great setup going into year number 4. And truly, I was talking about this with somebody who's like, next year is going to be crazy. And it's like, how do we build excitement? How do we get the word out? Like, all roads lead to Home Gym Con. And I truly do. I said this last year, but I think Home Gym Con is maybe the best way to grow this industry, through a number of different ways. Not only networking, not only content, but like everybody that goes comes out motivated to do even better next year.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good way to drive the industry forward, and it's truly a cause that I believe in. Like, I think if everybody in the United States or the world had a home gym, we'd all be healthier, we'd all be happier. Whether it's your only gym or not, a home gym doesn't hurt.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think you're completely right. And I really liked your Field of Dreams reference there. If you build it, they will come, because that really is it. And when you refer to, you said next year, are you referring to this year or 27?
This
year?
upcoming
Okay,
year.
this upcoming
It's
year.
kind of like, it kind of goes with the struggles of like showing the floor plan and people being like, oh, that looks cool, but you can't really grasp how large it is or like how cool it's going to be just from looking at that floor plan.
No, it doesn't do it. It doesn't give
if
an
you look
accurate
at-
depiction of it.
No, if you look at like the Arnold floor plan, it's monstrous. Or if you look at HFA, they're just huge, but there's so many random companies in there that, if you look at the Arnold floor plan, the Arnold is great, but they have like a section of like AARP and gutter installation. And like, there's a lot of those different companies there. And then the rest, most of it is supplement companies. And then I did do a little bit of math and it was like, even though I don't know I would imagine Home Gym Con is like an eighth of the size of the Arnold as far as like floor space, but there's like 10 to 15 times more gym equipment.
Right.
So
Yeah. And a much more like concentrated community of people who are into that specific thing. Like we've talked about it a number of times, but even the vendors always talk about it, just the level of education from us as the consumers, the people who are coming to check this stuff out, the types of conversations that they're able to have, the ideas that they get from the community, and just the life that it kind of breathes into them as companies that are trying to serve the community. It is the thing. And I think that you are absolutely right that if you had to pick one single thing that's going to continue to drive growth in the home gym community, you have to look at Home Gym Con as being the facilitator for a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just one part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. But anyways, we've got Freak Athlete on in. Yeah, and yeah, Brian Shaw was the big news.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
We've got some products to talk about, and then we've got Freak Athlete joining live. So
Yeah,
let's run
that's
through
right.
these new products. I'll just play this YouTube video. It's like 2 minutes, but it is the Freak Athlete adjustable kettlebell that was released, I think, on Sunday.
Introducing the Freak Athlete adjustable kettlebell.
is that not-
Replace
is
an
not-
entire set of
playing.
kettlebells
Volume
with a
not working.
compact design
It's working.
that adjusts from 12 to 32 kilos in seconds with 2 kilo
The
jumps.
video's more
Kettlebells
important
are the
anyways.
ultimate tool for functional training, but no one has the space or money for a full dedicated set. That's why an adjustable kettlebell may be the best investment you can make for your fitness. But here's the thing, other adjustable kettlebells suck. You have 2 options. First, you could get a cheap plastic model with limited weight, an uncomfortable shape, and sketchy plastic components. Or if you want to train heavy with a safe full metal construction, you could, but be prepared to spend a little of kettlebells.
There, I think
but
that
now
I think
with the
that
FA
does the
kettlebell,
job.
we've
So Freak Athlete released their adjustable kettlebell. The biggest thing that I take away is how easy it is to change weights, and then also, um, it yeah, that's the biggest thing. And then I think the 26 to 70 pound range is good for like your average person. I've been a big believer in adjustable kettlebells for the majority of people. I've said this on the podcast many times. I used to have a ton of kettlebells, use them sparingly, enough to like want to have kettlebells around, but not doing anything too complex. I think this one, you should be able to do complex things with it. Um, but yeah, this looks like a really good option for anybody looking to add a kettlebell. I personally, if I had a full set of kettlebells, I'd probably, and I've replaced them with adjustable kettlebells. I really like the ones from Bells of Steel that I use, but the biggest issue is the time it takes to change the weight.
Okay. Yeah, this looks interesting. I know that you are a huge advocate of the adjustable kettlebell. It looks to I don't know a ton about kettlebells. I have a pretty full set, but not because I'm some type of kettlebell expert. But this has the shape of like a competition kettlebell, right? Like that's one of the bigger differences between like a standard kettlebell and a competition kettlebell is the shape of the handle, right? And then don't competition kettlebells have it so that no matter what weight they are, they all kind of maintain the same form factor, but the weight in them maybe just changes? Is that
Yeah, I think one of the things is the weight stays at the top of this, whereas the weight on the ones I have are more at the bottom.
I see.
So this should feel even better than something like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll talk to Yogi and Benji
Yeah.
about this. I think they can give a little bit more insight. Here, one second. Anything else to add on this one?
No, I mean, I think it looks cool. I'm interested to hear, or I don't know. We've got another kettlebell in here, so it just seems like there's like a small movement of like attention going towards adjustable kettlebells right now, which is weird timing. But no, nothing more on this one. I guess we'll talk about it at length with the fellas.
Yeah, one second while I check my email for the link to send them.
Okay.
Yep. But we also do have another kettlebell, the Wild Man Delta. So this one goes from 40 kg to 14 kg to 40 kg, but they're in there's a lot more micro plates to load. So this one goes a little bit heavier, takes a little bit more time to adjust, and then there's more weight options that you can do. So this is another good option. Wildman Athletica has a huge booth at Home Gym Con. They're looking to make a big splash within this kettlebell clubs and maces world. And I'm excited to follow this company as they try and like really get integrated into the home gym industry.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it has a similar form factor. It's got the squared off handle that you see in the competition kettlebells as well. More of like a rugged look to this one. And I'd be curious to see how you adjust this one. There's got some tools there. Got me curious how quick the adjustment will be on this one versus like the Freak Athlete. Do we know? I think I saw the Freak Athlete one is priced at $299.
This one's more expensive.
Is it? Okay.
I believe, yeah. But it does go heavier. There is more weight. So it's really about what you want. Do you want something that goes a little bit heavier, or would you prefer something quicker to use?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, running through. We've got the Sting leg roller rack attachment. So the big thing here is, there's a few big things here. So it fits both 1 inch and 5/8 inch racks.
Oh.
So there is an adjustment that you can make there. Just kind of a standard leg roller attachment from Fringe, but it does stick out a little bit more. You can see like a little area between the pad and the rack, which I can definitely see helping. I do like having leg rollers in the home gym for back extensions and sit-ups, and that's pretty much what I use. And split squats. So
Yeah.
this looks like, and they even say in the video that they made, this isn't an industry disruptor, but it is. It kind of has Fringe's unique take on a new product.
Yes, I agree. I think leg rollers have a place in most home gyms. I have the Stray Dog Strength Alpha rollers, I think they're called. I have a pair of those, but I have not touched them since I got the Rogue multi roller, which is the big single one that goes from upright to upright. But I will say that that little extension that Fringe has put on here, like that probably like 2 to 3 inch gap between upright and pad, makes sense, because if you've ever used a single leg roller that is just butted right up against the upright, you find yourself way closer to the upright than is comfortable. You know, if you're trying to do like back extensions or anything like that, you're gonna be rubbing that upright. So it's a good design choice. I'm really curious. I haven't watched the video how they make this compatible with both 1 inch and 5/8 inch holes. But I think that's a compelling option for people with a 5/8 inch, because I don't think you see leg rollers that only take up a single hole at the 5/8 inch mark. Usually they have more of like a J-cup style attachment for a 5/8 inch leg roller. So a little innovation going on here from Fringe Sports. Looks cool.
Right, a little innovation.
Yeah.
They also did, instead of like a circled knob, they made 2 straight ends, so it should also be easier to turn. So a little innovation there too.
All right.
We've also got the VTS Home non-BYOB. So this is there's a little less infrastructure on here compared to the VTS. It also includes a smaller barbell you can put in the middle, and then ISO handles right out of the box. I think the price for this one is $499.99 for pre-order, but this one looks like a nice option as well. So more Smith machine style attachments being added, but this one looks good from Bulletproof too.
Yeah.
Probably more practical item for a lot of just like your traditional home gym owners.
Yeah, it does look like they've really continued to, I don't know, iterate on the originals. This is what, their 4th version, right?
It's
'Cause
3rd or 4th, yeah.
It's got to be 4. I think it's 4th, because they had the
4.
first two, the first two, and they released another one fairly recently that we talked about, and then now there's this one on top of that. So I haven't looked at this one very closely, but I know people love their VTS.
Yes.
And yeah, this one looks pretty compelling and probably has a much better starting weight. I've heard that being one of the bigger complaints of the first couple, is that their starting weight was pretty significant.
Gotcha. And then one more real quick, just some updates from Kodo Gi grips. So new XL Gi grip, some link straps, and then V2 Gi grips. We don't have a lot of time to talk about these, but I know a lot of people who picked these up at Home Gym Con really like them.
Yeah.
Really good guy running the company, David. If you're looking for some cheap, versatile attachments, I would check these out.
I like them. I haven't used them, but I get the idea. And the XLs look like a nice improvement, a little bit longer, give you a little bit more extension, better feel. And those attachment straps are always valuable in the home gym if you've ever used something like that. Those are a nice little add to cart option.
Nice little add to cart options for small business. And I think truly versatile, and more than just can benefit more than just somebody in the jujitsu world.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me bring in Yogi. Hey, Yogi.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Hey, Michael, also nice to meet you. I think the first time we're talking.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's good to meet you as well, Yogi. How's it going?
Dude, it's so cold outside. It is like, I don't know if you can see this, but it is freezing.
Oh, man. Where are you?
I'm in Indiana.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. That's why
Yeah.
explains why Jake's hiding in his basement these days because it's too cold to be in the garage.
It is, man.
I'm in Phoenix, and I think our coldest months are finally behind us because we've been like broaching 80 again here in February, and it's
I
insane.
wish. I wished.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's great to meet you. Thanks for coming on the show. We're excited to talk about some of the stuff that you guys have got going on over there at Freak Athlete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yogi. Yeah, we kind of went like we did like a 2-minute overview of the Freak Athlete adjustable kettlebell recently launched.
Okay.
But would love to get your background on just the product and just maybe some updates for anybody who's interested in the product.
So Freak Athlete adjustable kettlebell was something that's been in the works for, I'm going to say, almost 2 years now. And we had a very decent version that we were ready to launch about 1.5 years ago. And we got so close. And then just through constant feedback, people are like, it used to make a little bit of a noise and the curvature wasn't just fully dialed in. We thought it was better than whatever was out there, but just I did a workout and I noticed it's like that constant clanging and banging, and I was like, this is gonna drive people insane. I'm like, there's no chance we can launch this. So we put a pause on that product, started opening up new molds, try to figure out better ways to reduce noise, because you can't completely reduce noise, otherwise you can't slide it on and off, right? You have to have some level, but our plates are now fully machined, so they're CNC machined, and it is a very expensive process just to be able to do this. So it was very difficult for us to find a very good price point and just get it out to the people.
Yeah, I noticed when we were watching the video and just looking at some of the product shots that the loading plates have like little bumps that sit in together. Is that what you guys kind of implemented to eliminate some of the noise so that they sit closer together?
That along with the space between the shell and the actual plate. Normally, if you cast something, you have like a couple millimeter tolerance difference, right, and it varies. Like one mold might be 2 millimeters off, one might be 3, one might be 1, whatever it is. When you machine something, it's very precise. Like it's I'm telling you, it was so difficult to dial this in. It looks very simple, and it was incredibly difficult to dial it in.
Gotcha.
You mentioned it took a couple years. It look, like you mentioned, as you mentioned, it looks simple, but sometimes to get it simple is probably the hardest thing. How does that compare to like bringing some of your other products to the market, like the Hyper Pro, for example? Was that also something that took like a couple years, finding different factories?
So what happened was, for the Hyper Pro, it's usually just tubes, welding, pins, padding. It's very straightforward things. If you don't like an angle of something, you can request the factory to change the angle. It takes like an hour for them to cut it, weld it, get new parts made, whatever it is. It doesn't really take that long. But for something like a kettlebell, you need a mold. And to open up a new mold, it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the size and complexity of that mold is. There are cheaper molds, there are expensive molds. Just the process. So even if we wanted to make the change from, let's say, 33 millimeter to 35 millimeter handle, that would be another 2 to 3 months wait just to make that one change. And then we would come to the realization, oh, it's not wide enough, or it is too wide, or whatever it is. Guess what? Another 2 to 3 months go by. And that's why a product like this, again, it looks simple, but to really dial it in, the hardest part on the entire product for us, one, was making sure it was super secure. Like, people have a large concern that the pin will come out. I made a couple of videos yesterday. We'll be posting those pretty soon. But I violently shook the kettlebell up and down and in every direction possible. I'm like, I cannot get this pin to come out. Like, I'm not even using how a kettlebell is supposed to. I just like manhandled it. I started shaking it. I'm like, the pin is fully secure. And I explained that we have 3 points of safety on it. So one is it has a ball spring at the end, prevents it from coming out. We have a magnet on one side. And the third and the most important one is whenever you put it on and you lift the kettlebell up, the plates put pressure on that pin. So it's not as simple as just it'll slide out. It will put pressure on that pin. So you don't have to really pull on it for it to come out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was incredibly important.
Yeah, I mean, I can see even from a safety perspective, especially because kettlebell movements, a lot of them wind up overhead, right? Nobody wants weight plates coming down and smacking them right on the face if they're trying to do some
Nobody wants that.
kettlebell snatches and everything like that. So, good concerns from the people that you were working with as you guys brought it to market. What was the I don't know, like kind of the genesis, like what made you guys think like we want to bring an adjustable kettlebell to market? Because there's been a few out there. Is there some new movement where kettlebells are getting popular again, or is this more of like a passion project for you guys? What's going on there?
So for me, a kettlebell hits so close to home. Like again, it may sound like super biased that I'm saying this, but this is genuinely my favorite product. Not our kettlebell in particular, but kettlebell training in general.
Okay.
And that's been the core of my training for as long as I can remember. And because it's so efficient, you get in, you don't need a lot of equipment. And then you get in 30 minutes in, you're completely gassed. You're like fully demolished and you got a full body workout. You got a ton of calories burnt and you were super efficient on time. And when it comes to fixed kettlebells, that's what I started with, right? So I went out and I started I bought the first 2-3 kettlebells. Then I had to buy more, and then I had to buy more, and then I had to buy more. And then I was like, this is supposed to take up less space, and yet this is starting to pile up. This is like kind of like defeating the whole purpose of kettlebell training. So then I went online, saw a bunch of different kettlebells. I even bought one of the ones with the wrench. You got to take the wrench and like undo it. I'm telling you, it's a great concept. I think it's phenomenal. But the only problem is it just takes forever to change the weight. And I'm not super patient, okay, for me. Like genuinely, I'm not a super patient person. I don't want to take a lot of time setting up and doing. So I go ahead and I was like, we got to figure a better way out. Now, one more thing on the kettlebell note is if the kettlebell doesn't feel like a kettlebell, it's just not going to be good. It's like a lot of them are offset, the weight's further below, or it's a different shape, or the handle's off, the powder coating's weird. Like there's so many factors that go into making a kettlebell good. And in the community of kettlebells, it is so strict on it needs to feel like a kettlebell, it needs to look like one, it needs to function like one. And there's just so many, like form has to be perfect. If you do a swinging incorrectly or a snatch or a clean, people will tell you in the comments, I guarantee it. So it's incredibly important. And again, I've learned from genuinely some of the best people on the planet on kettlebells. Like I took the proper training. And this is again, it's a very product that's close to heart. So our kettlebell was specifically designed so that every plate that you select is as close to the handle as possible. Even the shell of the kettlebell is engineered so majority of the weight is above. The rest of it is a shell. It is cast iron, but it's just enough so where it's safe and the pin will go in properly and it will hold the weight fully, like in a correct manner. But majority of the weight is in the handle and the shell that's on the top portion of it. So it doesn't matter how many plates you select, it will replicate an exact kettlebell.
How does that, so I'm by no means a kettlebell expert. I did like some hasty research before I bought my small set, I don't know, 5 years ago. Learned a little bit about the difference between like a traditional kettlebell and a competition kettlebell. And yours seems to mimic more of a competition style kettlebell design, right? With like the more squared off handle. When you said that the shell, the weight, even with an empty shell, so like no plates loaded inside, the weight is tapering towards the top where the handle is. Is that how a competition kettlebell is too? Because I know with a competition kettlebell, regardless of the weight of them, the size and shape doesn't change. But where does that load sit in like a competition kettlebell versus the freak athlete kettlebell?
So this is almost like a combination. Again, nobody's ever done it like this before. Because in a competition bell, you kind of make the wall thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker, and the rest of it's just hollow, right?
Okay.
That's how you do it. And we kind of took it at a different approach. I'm like, okay, I love hard style kettlebells. I love like that kind of feel, but I also love the fact that every single time I clean or snatch a competition bell, I know exactly where that kettlebell is going to land on my hand, and I know exactly what it's going to feel like. Normally, when people do cast iron, the bell gets bigger and bigger, and then it starts landing differently on their arms.
Yeah.
And not just that, it bruises up their arms as well. And so we kind of took like a mixed approach and really just genuinely thought outside the box when it came to designing this product. And so we wanted it to feel as close to a cast iron bell as possible while having the benefits of that competition bell. Again, with that comfort in mind. So when you're cleaning, snatching, and that kind of thing, it's very important because people get so thrown off. My arms are getting bruised. I'm not going to train anymore. Or it doesn't feel comfortable. I'm not going to train anymore. You want to remove as much friction as possible when going about the design. And even on the handle, we chose 33 millimeters because competition belts go from 33 to 35. The 33 helps the smaller athletes, and for the bigger athletes, it's less taxing on the grip. So you're really focused on the actual exercise, not just like, oh, we're just gonna create the bigger diameter just because that's more popular. No, we wanted it to be the best kettlebell possible.
Okay, I've got one more, Jake. I know I'm kind of like running the show here, but I don't want to miss this one. The grooves at the top, those, I've never seen that before, but I assume that that's intentional so that it's more comfortable when it lands on your forearm. You've got like those little bevels.
Yep.
And is that mirrored on both sides of the kettlebell? Because I'm just looking at like the one side of it. Yeah. Okay. That was an interesting,
So,
I mean, I'm sure that makes for a much more comfortable workout. Kind
yeah,
of
normally it's like a
talk about.
rounded surface.
Right.
A rounded surface puts a lot of pressure on that forearm, and we didn't, like, we have companies out there who do flat surfaces. We made it a little bit more contoured, and it actually enforces you to do proper form. Otherwise, you'll land in the middle. So it'll teach you proper form. The better the more you use it, you'll actually learn, like, okay, I got to clean it this way. I got to be in a proper rack position. Otherwise, it will land in the middle of your form, and then it's going to feel like a normal kettlebell at that point.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Very cool. Thanks for humoring all of those questions.
Good follow-up questions. Well, I'm curious. I know, the past couple of years, Mayak received quite a bit of attention for its potential, and then partnered with Freak Athlete, and I think a lot of people are waiting on some updates for that as well. Do you have anything you could share with us about the Atom that you guys are producing with them?
So first things first, I want to give a huge shout out to Andreas. He's the CEO and founder of Mayak. He is such a smart human being. Just the thought process that went into making the Mayak Go was amazing. Like, he really, really knocked it out of the park. Now, what we're going to do is basically take that design and improve upon it and to just make it so that it's the best product possible, right? So it takes time. This isn't something as simple as welding and, just like putting some pad and pins on it. That's very easy. When it comes to this, is a lot of electrical components, because what we don't want is the motor to fail or the battery to fail, because at the end of the day, if that happens, you literally have a useless brick in your hand that you can't do anything with. So we're really focused on creating, like, we need to source high quality components. Now we're actively in the process of doing some fun stuff. Again, guys, definitely keep an eye out. We have a lot of fun stuff coming that nobody's genuinely thought of. And so along with that, we have time we need to source better components. So we're right now testing a motor, and if it passes our ridiculous test, then we'll accept it into our product. And if it doesn't, then we're going to continue to source motors until one does. Same thing with batteries. It can't just have like a 1-day battery or whatever, like 2 times use. You got to have multiple uses. So this is why it's a little bit more patient. I know people are very antsy online trying to get answers on, like, when is this thing coming out. Just rest assured, we are doing our absolute best when it comes to making this thing happen, and what you guys will get is going to be a phenomenal product.
Yeah, Jake, I'm glad you brought it up, because it was kind of in the news. What was it, last week? There was like an announcement, or was it you, Yogi, that kind of like said this, like, this is where we stand. We're not going to make another update on this.
Well,
and then of course the home gym community got it, and it was like, you had people who were like, dude, I'm with Yogi. Like, shut up, guys. You put $10 down. Like, let it go. And
not even $10. Like, a lot of people just put $1 down. But and then regardless of that, the whole intent behind that was to gauge, like, demand, and that was done by Mayak, right?
Right.
And it came to a point where the whole point was to gauge demand and understand how big is this market, how many people are actually interested in this, right? Putting $1 down, it was anywhere from $1 to 10. A lot of people just put down $1, and not to say that, like, not like that. It wasn't really funded through that. That was just to gauge demand.
Yeah.
And it helped people. Like, we wanted to make sure that, and we didn't have to do this, but we did it because we wanted to really thank the people who actually even supported him in the beginning. But we are going to honor. We're going to lose a lot of money on the first couple orders that we send out to these people, but it's totally fine because they helped understand. It was part of the process.
Gotcha.
And I love that the community was right behind us. If you look at the comments, people were right there with us. And that's what I'm telling you. This is one of my favorite communities for that reason, is they see through some of the bullshit essentially. And they're just like, okay, this guy, they're really working hard, and the community was right there with us.
I think I did see that. I think it was like, yeah, they raised like a few $1,000s. Like that's not gonna really help much with the
few hundred. And this thing will cost over $1 million just to make. Like just in the process of sourcing and doing this and the components and everything, it just in development, over $1 million. You paid a couple $100 at the very most. And thank you for that. Like genuinely, for the fact that it helped us understand how much demand is out there. Okay. And we're ready to take it to the next step. It's just, I'm telling everybody, please be a little bit patient. We will give updates. We hated coming on the group and posting every single month. Like, okay, we don't have any updates for you. Right. That's not a good look in general, but it's the truth. Like we don't have, what are we going to tell them? We're sourcing new motors and new batteries and stuff like that. No, that's not an update. They want to know when the product's going to be released. We don't have a timeline exactly, but we do plan to launch this year.
So you talk batteries, Jake. So was it Andres that we had here on Knurled News like a couple, like back when we first launched this
last
show?
year, yeah.
That was Andres, right? Okay. At the time, I don't know for sure, but at that time, wasn't it required to be plugged into the wall? Like in its infancy, I don't think it had a battery component. Am I wrong? Because now you're talking batteries. Are we gonna have like a what would you call it? Like wire free? Like you can use this without having it plugged into a wall?
Yep.
So that is something that you guys changed. That's a positive change.
It's actually something that Andreas did. Yeah, okay. It's something that Andreas did do. He had an external battery where it would be like a wire that connects to an external battery. We're building everything into the unit itself.
Sweet.
And yeah, we're working on, again, I'm not going to say a lot, but we're working on so many different things for it in general that I'm telling you, everyone's going to be super excited about it. Just a little bit of patience is required.
Well, let me ask you a follow-up question. You mentioned like trying to create a strong enough motor. Where do you even like go to find the motors for something like this?
So we currently make this in China. Now the thing with China is you can get some of the best components, and also you can get some of the worst components for the right price, right? So we have a very big sourcing team that scours throughout China, visits different factories, does their audit on them, tries to understand like what are the practices that they're doing to make such motors, and how are they able to achieve certain pricing. So we go through the process, and that's how we deem whether a company is good, bad, and so on. So just that's what we're doing right now is actively, we have so many different motors in actual testing. So just to gauge, like, are they going to burn out? Is it actually be able to create the resistance that we need? Is it doing what it needs to be done? And also at the same time, we don't want this thing to cost a lot of money, right? We want this to be as little price as possible. So we're trying to find that like a good balance of quality versus price. Because I'm telling you, being able to create this at a very decent price will change the whole home gym community.
Excellent. Well, I know that the entire community, everybody's really just excited about magnetic resistance, I think, in general. And you've got multiple camps. You know, I've talked about this a lot on these podcasts. Like you've got your early adopters, and then you've got the people at the end who are the late adopters, and then everything in between. I'm more in the late adopter. Like I'm gonna wait and see. You know, where are these things going? What's the actual lifespan of them? But the more competition that comes out, it breeds continued innovation. It continues to push back on price, and of course, the more that there's out there, then just the overall price of components starts to come down anyway. So I think everybody in the community is kind of keeping like either an excited eye or a speculative eye. Either way, eyes are on the magnetic resistance market. So I'm really curious to see what you guys do with the Atom.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. There's a lot of people on either end of the spectrum. Some people are just like, I'm never leaving my weight plates. I'm like, it's fine. Everyone's got their thing.
Yeah, I think even those folks will eventually find something that maybe starts to make them think twice about that.
I think a lower price will.
Yeah, a lower price is definitely going to do it. Yeah, for sure. Again, because it's the failure.
Jake nailed it.
It's the failure thing, right? Like, I mean, that's it with the Voltra. You know, it's like, okay, if if I'm going to spend $2,000, I want it to last for a very long time. You know, I see some people who say, if it only lasts me five years, then I feel like that's money well invested. I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like $2,000 for a 5-year lifespan. This is just hypothetical. People were saying like, if it lasts me 5 years, I'm happy. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. You know,
I do.
I wouldn't even agree with that.
I was gonna say, I do think, you know, a lot of people who say, you know, I'm just gonna keep what I've got, which makes total sense. But I haven't had a strong urge for magnetic resistance, and still until I started like building out, like changing my gym. Like I started building out this basement gym, and I find myself like, man, I almost would rather find something like that than bring in a cable system. It just takes like a new cycle of things, and there's going to be plenty of home gym owners added over the next 10, 20 years, and I think it might end up being the norm.
I agree with you. I think it truly is the next evolution to, and again, the things like kettlebells and dumbbells will never go away, but the idea is to help create new forms of resistance, like customized resistance is more so I think in my personal opinion, the most allure to this is not even just that you get to replace a weight stack, it's the customized resistance. So you can have like a heavy eccentric and a low concentric, or vice versa, or chains or whatever. You know, you can customize it to exactly how you want it.
Yeah, I mean, even like the incremental loading, you know, where you don't have to go in 5 to 10 pound jumps. You know, you can go by single pounds, and then even for somebody like me, like I've found so many different creative ways to set up my cables and like just the different types of movements. The versatility of having like this single unit that you can effectively move to any mounting point around your rack really changes things versus just having two pulleys that can go up or down. You know, obviously the arms have changed things a little bit, but even there you're going to run into some limitations, where at least for me, I'm always thinking creatively, like how can I turn this into a cable resistance movement? And the ability to move a unit to wherever you want really changes things. And I think, you know, like one of my favorite things about having a home gym is there's days where I'm not like super feeling like I can get some crazy intense workout, but I just want to embrace some curiosity. Like, I've had this idea. Let me see if I can set this up. I'm going to spend my hour and a half just tinkering in the gym. So I think it's a tinkerer's dream to have like some cool magnetic resistance options in the gym.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Well, Yogi, what's the rest of the year look like for Freak Athlete? I know you probably can't share everything, but just curious if you have any teasers you could share for us.
So this is not my favorite product, but this is Benji's favorite product. And we have something really, really big that we're going to launch ideally in March, maybe April, we'll see. But we have one major launch, and then we have potential 2 other launches depending on like what happens to development, apart from the Atom. Just one major launch apart from the Atom that we really think will make a big splash in the home gym community.
Okay.
Can't say what it is, but
I know.
People are going to love it.
What about, just curious about, have you guys started your home gym con planning yet? Or what can people look to expect from you guys at home gym con?
So everything that we have, we may even potentially do some first looks at home gym con. So it depends on like our timeline, but we have started planning. And this year we will be there. I mean, every single year. I know Jake. We always end up telling Jake, I'm like, Jake, I'm sorry. I'm in China. I can't do this right now. But this year we will do our absolute best and we will be there. And yeah, genuinely we're going to bring everything that we have. And I hope that people really get a chance to just come and try it out and even say hi. I would love to meet the community.
You guys are going to love it. You're going to think like, why did we wait this long to come? This is a great time. I'm looking forward to having you guys there, and I'm sure the rest of the community is.
Yeah. Well, I know
really looking forward to it.
Yogi, I know we got to cut soon, but anything else you want to discuss while you have us here?
No, just want to say a huge thank you just to the home gym community in general. This is such a unique group of people and so passionate that they will go to the comment section over Knurl. And I love that. Like, just to the smallest thing. Is it a metal pop pin or is it plastic? At the end of the day, it's the same thing. But I love the fact that people are so attention detailed, and not just that, it's all for health, right? We're not out here promoting anything else except for health. And if that means having a fun hobby like building out a fully decked out home gym or just having a set of kettlebells in your home, like, it's such a kick-ass community and I love it. So thank you everyone for the support in general. We couldn't have been here without the people buying our products.
I love it.
Cool.
He nailed
Well,
it.
I know, Yogi, you've got a really unique story into this industry. We'll have to have you on again so you can share that.
Yep.
And yeah, keep us in the loop with those the releases, the Atom update, etc.
Will do. Thank you so much, guys, for your time.
All right,
Thank
you got
you.
it.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Yogi, if you want to hop off. Okay, yeah. Cool. A little update there from Freak Athlete. Adjustable kettlebell explained the differences in theirs versus some others a lot better than we could. So that was nice.
Yeah.
The Atom update, I think that, he mentioned potentially this year. That would be cool. That'd be really cool if we could test it out at Home Gym Con. Didn't really sound like that was going to be possible.
Yeah.
But I have had a few sneak peeks at what he was referring to as their next product release, and should be pretty good. Should be
Okay.
pretty good.
All right.
Pretty helpful to the home gym community.
Well, that's exciting. He was cool to have on. Good energy. Seems very passionate about what they're doing over there at Freak Athlete. So I think it's super cool. I think they're going to have a really busy booth. I think even just like their original, like the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro, I think there's still people. I mean, I even know me. Like I've in the last year, I've still had a couple of people who will DM me just for my opinion on it, and I haven't used it. So I think that even that original product still has people curious because it's the space of it and the versatility of it. To be able to get a large portion of the community to get hands-on time with some of their products is going to be a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, I've never used any of their products really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me either. Not any of them. So I'm excited to have them.
Yeah. And then I'll just like quickly plug in. We'd love to do something like that just about every week. So if any companies want to time it up with some product releases or just any updates they want to share to the community, let us know. Very flexible. I scheduled that yesterday, like at 4 p.m. So
Yeah,
I
got a text from you. I'm like, okay.
So yeah, that was cool. That was fun. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Make sure to listen next week if we're on. We should be on. That was a one-time fluke thing last week. Listen, and also if you haven't, subscribe to Knurled News newsletter in the description. If you don't want to listen to us ramble about the products and rather skim it in a couple minutes, go ahead and subscribe there.
Sounds good. Well,
All right.
we will see y'all next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.